I was once in a pretty similar place to you, and I was getting more knowledge about porn and why you shouldn't do it every single day. And over time, I just went cold turkey. And for 2 months, everything was going really, really fine. It was almost like I
For you, bro.
actually
It's
experienced a
gone.
happy ending, and I was basically
It's gone.
thrilled.
Holy
I
shit.
felt more energy, I felt more everything, I was doing a
It's
lot
gone.
better. But the happy ending didn't last for a long time. During those 2 months, there were no urges, no nothing, but one day, a shade of curiosity hit me, and it went like this. Wouldn't you like to try it again sometime? Wouldn't you like to relax a little bit? Because everybody has to relax sometimes, and some time and curiosity later, guess who went back to stage one? What the hell was I thinking? Like, what made me do this? What was the motivation? I'm so confused, and I don't want to be back at this stage. I've got to do something to get out. What's up, bro? Today, my goal is to tell you how to get off porn forever. And I'm pretty certain, I am 99% certain, that this solution will be the one for you. So, with that said, let's get into this. This is the ointment story, and this is how it goes. One day, you wake up, and it's your normal day, everything is going fine. And then you look on your arm, and you see, okay, there's a big black dot there for some weird reason. And you don't think much of it for now. But you also see that, hey, some of your groups on WhatsApp are like, ooh, what the hell? Like, what's going on over here? Why is there a black dot on my arm? Three, four, five people messaging you. They're like, whoa, what the hell is this? Like, why is there a black dot on my arm? What's going on over here? And on the news, you hear, ooh, okay, there's this one solution. There's a special ointment that makes this black dot go away. 30 minutes later, and you're home. You've got the ointment with you, and everything is going fine. You open it up, apply it to that space. It's a nice white ointment. And in 10 minutes, the more you know, it's gone. The black dot's gone. You say the same to your colleagues, they go and buy the same thing, and it's gone. The next day you wake up, everything is going fine, and you just think, hey, it's gone. It's not gonna come back. You're happy, and then you wake up the next day again. But this time, you see that there are three dots on your arm instead of that one. And all of your friends are reporting the same thing of happening. You take the ointment again and are like, okay, let's put this on again. The three dots are gone. And the next day, again, you see nothing happen. The day after that, you've got 7 dots. And this goes on until your whole arm is filled with dots, spreading to the other arm and spreading to your whole body. Bro, come on, what the fuck is this? This is spreading to the other arm as well. What is this? Hope it's solved now. You are looking anxiously at social media, and anxiously you see that everybody you know has the same problem. Everybody is getting filled up with these black dots. Everybody has them. There is no cure found. It's getting more and more. But suddenly, you see a new post, and there's a local celebrity. This local celebrity has figured out a way to have no black dots. He is the only one who has really clear skin. And has a massive crowd around him. This massive crowd is asking him, how do you get rid of it? How do you get rid of it? And you go to that massive crowd as well. You ask him personally, how do I get rid of this? I do not want this anymore. And all he says is stop applying the ointment. You look at him like he's crazy, and then realize he might be right. So, for 3 days straight, you stop applying the ointment and are like, I'm not seeing any results. I don't know if this is the thing for me. But 1 week passes by. Your right arm has completely cleared, and there are only 3 dots remaining on your left arm. Before you know it, Everybody is free of this just because they stopped applying that ointment. And that was the ointment story. But how does that relate to the whole topic of this video? Well, let me just ask you this one question. If you had the option to use the ointment, would you use it? The answer is pretty obvious, right? You'd stop it. You wouldn't use it, ever. And you just watch it go away. Simple as that. And there'll be a lot more later on in this video, in the second part. But all I have to tell you is that porn works exactly the same way as that ointment. But for now, part 1 is here, where I'm going to discuss all of the downsides of porn. And yeah, I'm not going to hold you off. Let's get right into this. So let's start with some basics. Us humans as a species, our highest goal in life is to reproduce from a biological perspective. And porn is a hijacking system, meaning that it gives us the illusion that that's what we're doing, but in reality, when you watch porn and ejaculate, that is not what you do. Basically, porn is a trick on our brain, and it tricks us into reproducing even though we're not actually doing it. And the problem is, your brain doesn't see it that way. The only thing your brain actually thinks is that, hey, okay, this is a stable source of dopamine. I'm getting a bunch of women in front of me, and this is good for me. In reality, it isn't. And then there is a second factor to consider. You've probably heard of this, and this is the part of dopamine. Dopamine is very important to our system. Without dopamine, we would not be working, and this is our main motivator as a human. So let's say we've got some standard activity that you do. We've got working out here. This is your baseline dopamine, and this baseline dopamine is pretty normal. This is like the 100% mark, okay? And this 100% mark will go down first. And because it goes down simply because you're working out. And when it goes down, it's going to go up at the end of the day. It goes down because you're working out and it's really difficult. And here is when you're done with the workout and you're like, ooh, big dopamine hit. Okay, and after some time it goes back to the standard 100%. Let me show you what it looks like with porn, okay? The thing is, that porn is much more stimulating than anything we can comprehend. Because at the end of the day, the most stimulating thing a human can experience is sex. And that is made use of. So this is how it looks. I'm going to show the whole up. It's this graph at the bottom. So it goes down, maybe a little bit more because you have to get it open, and it's a lot more anxiety inducing than working out. But the thing is that it goes up a lot more because, as I said, it's a lot more stimulating. And here comes the problem. When it comes down again, it's not going to go to the 100% like working out. This is what you'd expect it to be. But this is where it actually goes. And the problem is that becomes your new standard. And that standard will stay until you stop the problem. And here's the scary part. This bottom right here, it will keep getting lower no matter what you do if you keep going. Because you're going to get you're going to go again, okay? It's probably not going to be like just one time. You're going to go again. And when you go again, ooh, it's going to go up again. But notice this high and notice this high. I think there's a pretty big difference between these two. So it goes up here and it comes down again. And look over here. This is where we started. And this is where we're at now. And the more you do it, the more it goes down. So it goes from 100, 90, 80, 70, 65, so on and so forth. And this is going to be a very draining thing on your dopamine and your general system. This is the reason why drug addicts are the way they are. The first time you see somebody like have a cigarette, they're like, oh shit, like this is strong, this is strong. And before you know it, 2 weeks later, they're on 5 a day. That is how dopamine gets basically ridden off. in your whole system. And then you are like, okay, but why didn't I stop the first time then? Like, if I go down, then why would I go for the same thing again? And here's the problem: you know that an addiction is not that easy to cure. You would be here if it was that easy. You would have been like, okay, let's go on Pornhub, let's do our job. And then after that, you would have been like, okay, I'm never going back there again. You were not like that, were you? That is not the way that it works. You're going to be like, okay, this is cool, let's do this again. And that's what you think at the first time. And that's how it goes. The downward spiral begins. That's the same way with every single drug. Video games, our topic in the video, cigarettes, any like illegal type of drug. All drugs work the same way in that regard. And the way to break the cycle is what I'm going to be showing in the second half of this video. But the first very important thing that I want you to memorize is that this is an addiction. Porn is an addiction, and nothing more and nothing less. Basically, this all leads to a much less happy person, a much less active person. You're a lot more tired, you're a lot more lethargic, you're a lot less in the mood to get things done. You don't start the day with like, let's conquer this. You're gonna be more like, yeah, like this, and just thinking like, what the hell am I doing here? Getting your phone out and having a bad day, and you're legit becoming you're becoming a loser on a cellular level. Your cells are making you lose. You are physically incapable of being what you want to be. That's how deep this gets. Not only will you feel like a loser, but you will also look more like one. You know those like skinny fat people that you like, the typical person that you think is gonna fap, okay? They're gonna be like this. They're hunched over, looking down, shoulders are up, like all going to the front. Don't even have correct posture. They look like this. I'm sorry if you're that kind of person, but bro, that is the kind of person that we imagine is going to like bust it, okay? And that person is not the man that you want to be. The man that you want to be has straight shoulders, looking straight, has got good posture, has got good body language, has actually got an aura around him that is like very nice, very calm, and not like this, that bad aura around the people, that very bad frequency that they dish out to everything around them. That is not the aura you want to achieve. And that is exactly what porn breeds. Another big mental downside is that you lose the ability to say no to things. Because remember the last time you were like, no, I'm not gonna do this. And then 10 minutes later, it ended up being more like, bro, what the fuck? Not again. Like, I already went over this. I feel like I've been here before. You basically are saying no to the thing, but your no's have absolutely no power. No pun intended. But the thing is that everything you say becomes less impactful. You know the guy around the table that when he speaks, everyone is like, you're basically becoming the opposite of that. Every time you speak to other people, they're just gonna think like, "Ooh, he's talking again. Like, I don't need to listen anyway. He just told shit." You're becoming more like that each time you spap, because you lose the ability to say no every single time. And with that, your words basically detract in value, because if you can't keep the word to yourself, then who are you going to keep it with? You might be like, okay, this might not be revealed to anybody because this is just inside me. Nobody knows that I'm doing this by the side. But this, everything in this video, if you do this behind the covers, still, everybody knows because you can feel it in everybody's aura. I do not know how to explain this, but everybody has like this frequency. I believe it's called vibrance frequency or something like that. I'm gonna I'm gonna look it up in a moment. My bad. It's called the vibration chart. And this vibration chart, the lower you're on that vibration chart, that is felt by everybody around you. And porn is probably the biggest thing that's going to pull it down. Nothing else. And this will be detrimental to everything you do. You want to make money, you want to get better relationships, you want to do everything in your life. Well, guess what? It's going to pull it down by a big margin. That isn't the end of it. The main problem is that it's so accessible. I could stop right now, stop the video right now. In 30 seconds, I could be on there. And that's how quickly most of us can get there. You're probably in your home now, looking at this, chilling, like, oh, okay, this is a video, and you're on your phone right now. It will not take more than 30 seconds to get on there. You have to open a new tab, and you can go on there. That's how accessible it is, and that's how the danger exceeds a lot of other drugs. Because in order to get like a lot, let's I'm not I'm not indulging this thing. I'm not endorsing this in any shape or way or form. But you cannot get heroin in just going on the internet in 30 seconds and just getting it for yourself. That's not how it works. Porn, you can get that at any time. You only need a Wi-Fi connection and nothing else. Other than that, porn also puts all of your productivity, all of your power, all of your everything into the wrong thing. Everything in terms of energy is wasted if you frequently do this. Because if you would work, this energy could be it could really well be put into something productive, some hard work, something that you would actually be proud of at the end of the day, and say like, hey, I'm actually pretty proud of what I did today. I did some pretty good work. But with this, all of that energy, all of that excess energy even, that could be used for a much better cause than just going on some random website and going on some beating it to pixels. And that's my next point. Everything you do on there is actually harming you, because this causes your arousal to become connected to the pixels. So that means if it's not pixels that you see, you might actually like stop being aroused, because your brain kind of gets rewired to a certain sense and says like, ooh, okay, these pixels are pretty cool. Let's rewire them because I'm getting them really frequently. I'm getting them basically every day, maybe multiple times a day. So why not? Like this is pretty cool. I don't even have to expend any effort. This is easy. This is cool. And before you know it, when you're actually there, you might actually not get hard. I can't certify this because I haven't been there, and I will never be there because I will never be taking a step back. But I do not want you to end up in that scenario. And to end all of these negatives, I want to make you one reminder. This is an addiction, and this is not something that you want in your life. And with that said, we're going to do the second part, which is called combating porn. One small disclaimer. I do not want you to change any of these things that I say. Don't make any adjustments to it. Don't say like, "Ooh, but I'm gonna do it like this because it works better." If you follow these to a T, I promise you that it will be a thing of the past. So the goal here is not to give you that one secret strategy, that one hack that's going to change it forever. No. My goal is to reframe your mind. And that reframe is going to happen like this. Porn has got zero benefits, and I'm going to prove it to you this way. There are three things that I want you to ask yourself. What does porn do for me? Am I actually enjoying it? And do I need to go through my life sabotaging my mind and body? I want you to stop the video right now. Think about those three questions in detail and write yourself the answers on either your computer or, in the best case scenario, take a pen and write it on some paper. I want you now to look at your answers. And those answers should be honest. Do not try to bullshit yourself because you are trying to help yourself. If you're lying, then you're only putting yourself back in the cupboard. Doing it is only going to solve your problems for an hour or so, maybe, at most. And you will never run faster than the addiction, and it's going to get faster and faster. The ultimate solution is to not see yourself as a quitter. You want to see yourself as a winner. And what does a winner do? A winner doesn't sit in bed. The first thing that he does is open up his phone and do his job. No, that's not what he does. I want you to line up with your new self-image. This is how it works. You've got your current self-image right here. And this self-image is here because he fabs, he does bad habits. You've got your other self-image right here. And the thing is, every habit that we do is going to line up with our self-image. If we have our self-image here, that you don't want to do any bad habits anymore, this is what you want to become. And if you become this, then you will line up with it. Lining up with your self-image is much, much easier than trying to fight against it. You're not going to be like, oh, I'm gonna quit porn, I'm never going to fap again, and then 3 days later, you know the result. You want yourself a new self-image, and this self-image dictates, I am a winner. This self-image is going to lead you to success. If you line up with this self-image, you're going to be like, okay, this is not conducive to my self-image, then why should I do it? Because this is not going to lead me to the goal that I want to get to. You are doing yourself a favor right now and watching this video, because you are not going to be quitting. You're going to be escaping, because this is an escape. This is a plague inside of you that has been planted over time, slowly but surely. And at the start, it was basically pretty harmless. You were just curious, you went ahead and was like, ooh, okay, this is cool. And over time, it became worse and worse. It's the devil in disguise. And you are going to be not quitting, you are going to be escaping from it, because you know deep down, and don't try to bullshit me, even if you're still doing this, you know deep down that this is a plague and nothing more. Here comes some really, really good news. You know how in porn, well, not just porn, in drugs in general, there are withdrawal pangs. You know those stories with heroin addicts, and they're like, ooh, okay, let's go. And when they quit, they have legit physical pain because they stopped. And then they go back to it. It's basically a vicious cycle. With porn, that doesn't exist. And I can tell you that because I have escaped from it 2 times. Remember, escaping is different than quitting. And this is escaping. I've escaped from it 2 times. Once unsuccessfully, once successfully. I'm not planning on going back. Let me tell you, there has been nothing. There has legit been absolutely nothing. No pain, no thinking about it. You're just glad you are free from it, because this is going to lead to freedom. Then you might be asking, like, okay, then why didn't I quit? Why didn't I quit? I relapsed so many times. Then why didn't I quit? And the reason for that is that the withdrawal pangs are actually fear in disguise. You are basically afraid of the future. You're afraid of those future withdrawal pangs that are going to come, okay? Because you'll be like, okay, I'm gonna do this because it's gonna be over, okay? One more time, just one more time, just one more time, just one more time, and that's how it keeps going. Fear here is the enemy. The fear of never being able to stop, and that is what you need to combat. That is our main enemy here. Nothing else. I'm gonna rip a direct quote here from my notebook. You are gaining back your health, your energy, your wealth, peace of mind, confidence, courage, self-respect, happiness, and freedom. This is a certified Pascal's wager. If you don't know what that is, a Pascal's wager is basically something with exponentially huge benefits and basically no downsides. Because best case scenario, you're going to be free from it completely. There will be no incentive for you to continue. Worst case scenario, you're going to be at the place where you are right now. And that's probably not, it's never going to go down. It's going to stay at the baseline and you can only go up. And this is the video. This is the video that will make you go up if you follow the instructions. Now you might be like, okay, porn is not good for me. But what if I do it in moderation? Meaning like do it like once a week? And that's probably gonna be fine, right? Because I'm going to be getting the best of both worlds. I'm going to be, one, watching less porn. That's exactly what I want, right? But at the same time, I can still keep it. And it will be still in my life, and I won't have to sacrifice that much. That makes good sense, right? Well, I'd like to say yes. I'd really, really like to. But the answer is a big no. And here's why. This will extend your suffering. What do I mean by this? If you cut down to once a week, in comparison to that person who does it every single day, the person that does it every single day, they don't have impulse control, okay? But they can do it whenever they want. They have the freedom to choose, like, hey, okay, I can do it at any time. I don't really care, I'm just gonna go ahead, okay? You, on the other hand, who is here, I'm just gonna do it once a week. No more than that, no worries. I'm just gonna sit here. You're doing them every single Monday, let's say that, okay? You're on Monday. Monday passes, okay, you've done it. The problem is, you are going to be looking forward to every single Monday after that. So Monday, ooh, next week, okay, so that's okay, if that much I've got to last, yeah, I can do it, I can do it. The problem is, your mind is not going to be focused on something actually good. It's going to be focused on next Monday. That is where your mind will reside for the whole time. Your mind is just going to think like, okay, next Monday, that's when the big day comes, and you are going to be building this up, and then come crashing down again. Every single week, you will have less concentration, you will have less free mind space, and this is going to be very, very draining and going to be sapping your energy, because this is not only like the physical stuff that happens where you're draining, but also emotionally and mentally draining, because you're looking forward to it, and this is something that you won't be able to stop thinking about. That is the big danger of trying to cut down on this. And that is the worst thing you can do, because you think you get the best of both worlds, but you actually get the worst of both worlds. This actually, the side where you're free, it doesn't have bad stuff. But the bad, like the bad, which you think, like the addicts that do it multiple times a day, they're still better off than you. And that's pretty crazy. And that's how you make the bad thoughts and the shadows cease forever. And with that said, thank you very much for watching. And yeah, this is great. But it wasn't as bad as I remember, right? I can go back to it, and it won't be as bad as it used to be. Fucking damn it! Back in the trap. Fuck's sake. And that is how it begins again. I do not want you to make the same mistake that I made, because the sequence that you saw is exactly what happened to me. For 2 months, I was free. I had nothing that I could have wanted more to just leave it at that. But I went back, and it was not a good ride, because it took a lot longer to get rid of it that time. If these moments arise, then the first step you have to take is saying no. Take a deep breath in, like this, and breathe out, and say no, either out loud if you can, or if you're in an environment where it's maybe a little bit cringe to say no out loud, say it in your head. But if possible, say it out loud, because that has a lot more impact. So, that is the first step to take towards it. But remember, the problem is the root cause, and that's fear. That is where you do not want to go. And the first thing to do against that is destroying the brainwashing that you are doing yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're brainwashing yourself into fapping again. That is how it works. You do not want it yourself. You are brainwashing yourself to go back like, hey, this is a nice place to get some dopamine. This is cool, let's do it again. It wasn't as bad last time, was it now? And that's where you go down again. Do not brainwash yourself. Say no. And when you say no, say it with conviction, and trust me, then it will work. But the ultimate place that you want to get to is simply the place where you can say, like, what is this? This is disgusting. Like, hell no. That's the place that I've gotten to now. Every time I think about it, I just think like, this shit's disgusting. Like, what the hell am I doing here? In the matter of 2 seconds. That's how quickly it should go if you're completely done with it. And with that said, this guide comes to an end. But I do not want you to leave yet. I want to give you some homework, okay? This homework is going to be the first link in the description. This is the place where I got around more than 50% of the material for this whole video. Everything in this is the reason that I stopped. And if you just read this, it's around a 2-hour read, 1 to 2 hours, depends on your reading speed. But this is a gold mine if you want to just quit forever. At the very start, I was skeptical, but by the end, I was just like, okay, let's quit. Let's not quit. Let's escape. Let's escape, because that's where I've learned most of the things in here. And this is worth more than $1 million, more than €1 million, 100%, because this gives you knowledge and power that will absolutely change your life. And yeah, with that said, I thank you very much for watching, and see you soon. Hey, psst. Yeah, you. I know that guy talked a lot of smack earlier, but I've got some advantages to pawn that you can take advantage of. I've got to be a little bit silent because he's gonna hear me, but he has some advantages to pawn. There you go.